Hey, what's going on, guys? All right, so I wanted to come up back on here after I had myself a little meal, a little snack, and yeah, I wanted to touch base back on what I had said yesterday, not yesterday actually, earlier today, moments ago, in regards to the seventh day. Now, I know you guys have been percolating your little brains and things of that nature, trying to come up with some type of comeback or way to save face even more. Probably to even be a slick Alec, but here I am. Here I am to just kind of hear your feedback, because I mean, there's people who are probably trying to push a narrative like, oh, we have to be against her because, she's probably like against black people or something like that, some shit. And clearly, my history have shown otherwise, Wah! Got you, person who literally always like comes up on here to go ahead and change the freaking like, um, to shadow ban me. I got you. I got you. Yes, go ahead. Move yourself down. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's that four. Just wanted to show that. Okay, cool. So anyway, bam. I wanted to just come up on here. Ooh, don't worry. Still, it's appropriate. So I wanted to come up on here and just kind of show you guys about oh, Starling. I have to just be the cat sometimes. So cute. So glad they're not bullying the birds movie. Oh my goodness. And here's the oh my goodness. All right, so a starling came, two starlings came, and a it's not a finch. They look like sparrows, but one has a red head. Forgot what it's called. A chickadee. There we go. So cute. And her baby. Oh, that's a pretty healthy size. I don't think it's a baby anymore. Either that's not a baby or that's her lover. I think that's probably the male version and the female. It's very funny. I love that they're in pairs. It's just so cute seeing the animals in pairs. Like, in particular, I'm dealing right now with the mourning dove and her lover. Unfortunately, the lover keeps stealing or eating too much of the food, and I think that the girl is just very particular about that. And so they had an argument. I call the guy Jasper, and I call the girl Delilah. So cute. It's adorable. But anyway, that is another conversation for another day. They're having ins and outs right now. They're on outs right now, and Delilah is being reckless for her life. So that's another tale for another day. So anyway, um, oh yeah, the seventh day. So yeah, I mean, whatever narrative that you guys will be pushing on me is really just projection. So I'm quite aware of that, and I'm already prepared for that. But it's just like, imagine it if you were. when I was referring to the history books and how we were deprived of inserting the information about how Africans sold Africans to the Europeans in order for them to be manservants and laborers in America. And I know people are really, really in a tizzy because there's a lot of Black people who don't like it when the Black people are put under the scope when it comes to, I guess, responsibilities and things of that nature. They just want to, they, meaning just that group, that particular group, just wants to, not want to have like an open discussion, just have it all out. Like if you want to go ahead and actually resolve something, we need to have it all out and be able to just kind of bear ourselves um, before one another and express exactly like, all right, so what is going on and how do we move forward? Unfortunately, that is something that has yet to be done. There's just more so underhanded kind of like corruption, like you scratch my back, I scratch yours, or what are you going to do for me? And then there's also the continuing manner of the whole victim. Pardon me. Pardon me. There's a whole part of the whole victim aspect. Now, you it's the matter of negotiating negotiating terms, and yet the terms are processed, the terms are enacted, but then still bringing up the old references and the old details and old stories in order to still hold that above that person's head. And then that person's kind of stuck in a situation. It's like, hey, wait, look, I did this. So I thought that we were square. I thought, this was forgiven. And the other person's like, no. It's almost in like terms of like a relationship. If somebody, has done something bad and you decided to allow that person to back into your life, then it's just like, okay, then why are we still talking about this? Unless that habit is still happening. Okay. It can be said in order for reference, but it's just like, okay, if we are saying this again, then there's no need for us to continue having another relationship or connection or anything of that nature. There's like a really messy kind of situation in regards to conflict resolutions where things are not so black and white. Sometimes there is areas of gray, but and I say this even for like myself, and that's how I kind of, logically handle situations. But it's just like ultimately, it's just like you're too much of a minus for me in order for me to take that chance. And you talk a lot of shit and you talk in circles, so that way you can save yourself. When you seem to be so smart and high and mighty, and yet you still keep doing stupid shit, which are intentional in order to either provoke me, upset me, or not make me feel good when I'm in your company or when you're in my company. You feel me? So it's just best if I put myself away from you because you are just really just like a fucking drag, just a fucking drab, miserable person who cannot, for somebody who claims to be so smart, you cannot fathom any kind of idea, topic, or subject in order for it to be entertaining without going ahead to put a negative spin on my identity or try to criticize me. Like, you need to make either that a fucking career to the point where it tires you the fuck out, to whenever you are in anyone else's company, as like, you're not working and you're not on the clock, where you just don't want to do it anymore. You feel me? Because there's times when like people who make who pursue a career in whatever they're passionate or really good at, or what it, like, really talented at, they don't they typically don't tend to want to still do that like off the clock. You feel me? Some people do, but some people, mostly for the time being, especially if you're like, working extremely hard, you kind of don't. And I just feel like, some people should just either work themselves ragged to the point where you just don't feel like doing that shit, or you should want to be mindful of you not having that spill out onto personal territory. You feel me? So, pardon me. Pardon me. Some people say that I ghosted them, but it's just like, no, just left you the fuck alone because you didn't understand boundaries, and you pressed certain boundaries that was just like totally disrespectful. Like, no explanation needed. Okay, like, what you did was wrong, and there are people who are still trying to save face and trying to make it seem like, um, like the issue is, something that can be like mulled over or swept underneath the rug. Their beef with me is definitely one-sided because all I want is fucking justice. You feel me? Like, whatever kind of, however they're victimizing themselves is how they're victimizing themselves. But at the end of the day, I know for myself that I want to have justice, because the shit that has been going on has been, far too much and way too long. It's been just, yeah, I cannot. It's really fucking embarrassing. So yeah, when I was talking about, like, the in our history books about Africans selling Africans to Europeans, it's just like we really do need that, because it's just all about like accountability and responsibility at the very end of the day. And knowing how to move forward. I was also kind of looking at it as like, okay, look, these former these people who are not alive anymore, but like basically races in general, non-black races from back then and from present day, are whores. These are the whores that you would find in as a scenario. I'm just giving an example, but these are the whores that are sleeping with your lover that you caught. Okay, so let's just say, the intentional ones, the ones who was like, really trying to, who weasel their way into your relationship in situations like that. Racists are, I'm going to use them as an example, as the whores, okay? And the lovers are the Africans. The lovers are the black people slash Africans, okay? Yes, we're gonna be mad and we're gonna handle accordingly the whore, the the whore horse, basically, the racists. We're gonna handle them accordingly, especially for the level of offense that they've done. But we're also gonna go hard, extremely on the lover, because a lot of this shit would not have happened if it wasn't for these motherfuckers. You feel me? So, you have to pay you have to allocate the responsibility when it comes to the disrespect. Okay? Like, look, we look like, hey, how could you do that? Like selling somebody, how could you go that far? And don't use the excuse, well, everybody cheats. Well, like everybody does slavery. Everybody's no. But there was some type of limit where it should have been a light bulb for you to actually get your shit together and for you to fucking act right and act accordingly. Like what the entire fuck? You feel me? Like what was not clicking that day? What was not clicking those centuries? And what was clicking exactly within these past like 20 years? And that you guys wanted to, keep this shit going. That's the same kind of staunch energy is just like ridiculous. It's like so off-putting and unattractive. It's like why the fuck did you guys ever think that you were ever better than another person, that you would want to put them and subject them to like um indentured servitude, like slavery? It's just so wild. And man, it's just horrible. But I just really had compared it to that. So yeah, when people are thinking like, oh, I'm trying to make it enemies out of black people, no, I'm really just trying to, it's like a resolution kind of situation. Instead of everybody continuing with this whole loop of fucking pointing the fingers, it's just like, no, like what we need to do is have a real good talk. And also for some people who are nowadays, like the people who are fucking, still racist and still living on back on the glory days when they got to make a profit off of a person and they got to project and misdirect all their hatred and self-hatred and other hatred onto an innocent person, murder them, harm them, torture them. It's just like wake the fuck up. Like, those days are fucking over. Yeah, once upon a time that shit was, insanely. Basically, everybody back then was mentally fucking ill because somehow that shit was legal. Okay. And somehow you guys are trying to make this shit legal behind the fucking scenes. And for a lot of you motherfuckers that are watching, you are making this shit trying to be normal. I really literally maybe like less than an hour ago saw a nigger coon on some stupid shit talking about something like trying to make a reference that a living person is somehow a chosen identity who's meant to be a fucking martyr and some shit. Like, yo, get the fuck out of here, yo. Like, this is just showing a lot of mental illness. I don't know what's been in the water, what's been snuck up, and like the fucking vaccines and shit like that. But it's like people really need to get it the fuck together and just have some responsibility and act accordingly. Be more serious about life because it's just not looking good in the future. It's not. Like, bruh. And if not for you, then for the future. For like, future kids and stuff like that. It's wild. It's really, really fucking wild. I just and I think that people want this like, easy what is it that the whole easy it's not easy gratitude, but just like easy enjoyment or like, that um I mean, who wouldn't in a lot of respects, but it's just like I think people are afraid to do the work or afraid to have those big conversations or those heavy conversations when it comes to really wanting to resolve something or putting their foot down. And it's something that I know is shaking within you. It's almost like you guys are almost like a silent fucking volcano where it is erupting in you, but you have yet to explode. And I myself, can relate at sometimes. Like, I was just like, but then I look at it like this. I don't have a reason to do that at this extent. Granted, there are the shit that's been going against me is fucking insane. But thankfully, I'm an innocent party. So it was just like, okay, look, I understand what the situation is right here, and I have fucking receipts. I have proof and evidence. You guys Like who would I actually be allying with? But a bunch of people who I've honestly wanted to see me harmed or used. This is basically who would I be appealing to? The thing that makes it so much more easier is just that I have not witnessed a single person who has really shown me genuinely that they are, and they are like, an innocent person who has not been partied, um, affiliated with this bullshit. So it's just like, I am it's like no man is an island. And, I disagree. I am one of one, really, because no one, and I mean it, no one has literally said like, yo, what this shit is really, unfair, unjust. Like, you'll get your justice. This shit is resolved. So who am I longing for? No one. You feel me? Like I'm not longing for anybody. I'm not wanting to. I don't feel lonely. I am alone, but I don't feel lonely. I myself can, flutter like a butterfly amongst people, and then I can tell them, okay, bye, I'm done. Because like I don't want any kind of connection with people who are just fucking liars and people who obviously want to just be losers. And if you aren't that person, then why don't you fucking, step up? Why haven't you said or done anything? You feel me? So it's just like a lot of people right now are kind of playing the victim because they want to have access to me that they'll no longer have access to, and they are so befuddled and so like upset and in their feelings. But it's just like, well, yeah, at this point I am better than you, because I would never do this. I would never have done this to anybody, especially for like, I mean, for no just cause. Like this is just seriously wow. So yeah, while somebody's out there really trying to pretend like, we have a relationship or that I want to be with them and things of that nature, it's just like, no. However, if I do want to go ahead and go out there and mingle, or if I want to go out there and have like a relationship with somebody, I can, because I am a single woman, for one. For two, I just that, I know exactly how the atmosphere and the environment is. And for three, I do whatever it is that I fucking want to within reason. It's just like, I mean, it's just like at this point everybody can go kill themselves, because like you're nothing. Like the only people who I try to like share any information with is for like the alleged people who have advocated for my fucking justice. There's nobody on fucking social media that I've seen that has been like, okay, look, this shit right here with this woman right here is fucking egregious. Like as many times as you guys make your think pieces and things of that nature, it's so always just anybody. I think you guys make it to whomever is like, the collective, where it's actually directed at me, but people who have actually possibly been mistreated and misharmed and harmed the same way. So you guys make it out to like, oh, I don't know who this goes out to, but here you go. And it's just like, okay, like you have a good start, your intentions are nice, but at the very end of the day, it's just like, what? It's like, imagine if you had a bag full of money and you wanted to go ahead and donate it. And it's like, that there's a regular person out there who's homeless. But instead of actually giving that person like, money, shelter, or something like that, you give it to a corrupt charity that really does just puts it in their pocket instead of actually helping the homeless. It's almost something kind of like that. Until again, it's just like, it's a charitable offer that you did, but it wasn't towards something that was actually, I guess, like concrete, something that was actual. Yeah, I can definitely explain it better if you give me a moment. It's just like, okay, it's not that what you did wasn't valuable or wasn't appreciated. It's just that it still, keeps me at a part where I'm still being voyeured. There's still the human zoo experiment going on. That's still fucking abuse. And there's the intentions and the maliciousness behind the doors that's happening still. So until some type of, figure or image or something like that, actually comes to the forefront, and, I actually see it, on social media or something like that, or directly, then that's when I'd be like, okay, finally, that's when justice happens. That's actually an opportunity, that there's actually people out there that are advocating for my justice and not trying to actually use me as just something to help their platforms continue, you know? because I've witnessed that too for a few years. I've been crossed to a point where, like, I saw people who were like motivational speakers and things of that nature, and I had followed them. I had followed them prior to knowing that I was being voyeured, and the person was still continuing to go ahead and make inspirational speeches and things of that nature. And I was I was just being supportive and liking their things, and then all of a sudden it started gradually starting to be passive aggressive triangulation and things of that nature. And so at that point, and excuse me, and fast forward to today, there's the whole sex trafficking thing where you guys are trying to solicit me to, be with somebody from your camp or whomever that you recommend, or there is the reference of you wanting me to be a messiah or a martyr or something like that, and no, or a leader, and I'm just like, no, no, no. No. I've literally had my roles in other people's lives, and I fulfilled enough when it comes to that part of my life. So again, I just see those kind of people as fucking crabs in a fucking barrel. I really hate those kind of people. I really fucking do. Like, yo, y'all just really, it just says that you should have never existed. Cause I mean, honestly, can somebody, like, you look back on history and you see so many other people who were actually willing to fucking stand up, and you're telling me that, you need me to be nailed down to, you seem to be doing well enough on your own. If it took a whole bunch of you to try to like pin me down, to try to silence me, you seem to be doing well enough on your own to try to be leaders, but you guys pretend to be leaders. It's so fucking crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I can't. Dirty business. Dirty business. I can't. It's just not my steez, not my style. No, 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 no. All right, I'm gonna go. It's 6:02 p.m. April 7th. Da 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 da. Let me go ahead and subscription. So boom, 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 boom. People be really in their fucking feelings. I'm like, wait, hold up, hold up. Like, how are you mad at me? Seriously though, how are you mad at me for living, bitch? For wanting to live? Like, yo, that's wild, man. Okay, so how do I do this? Um, Say hi. Hi. Like, I just had to got a message myself, but yeah. Yeah, like, yeah, this is weird, man. Like, I'm not trying to be a leader. I'm literally just kind of stating situations that are happening. I'm not trying to be, I'm just literally just putting out information. It's like this. If someone was, stopped in the middle of walking down the street, and, you ask them for directions and they give it to you, doesn't mean that you need to kidnap them and put them in your fucking vehicle and then boom, they become your Google Maps. You feel me? Like, that's literally how I feel. That's literally how I feel. Like, people have abused matters to the point where it's definitely illegal, and the point where I hate you. Like, there's nothing that's going to try to make it a favorable situation in order for me to think that it's okay for me to have been put through this. Okay? There's no biblical or religious or spiritual reference that's going to make this shit like honky dory. Crazy. Insane. Totally wild. What the fuck? So yeah, but the people who are trying to make a problem or a big issue and big deal saying that, oh, this is like, black hatred and stuff like that. No. No. What you did was black hatred. The moment that you decided to go ahead and sell me out in order for you to get like little material possessions and things of that nature, and still fucking be ungrateful and happy that you need to complain and still try to enact a lot of violence against me, like metaphorically and like kind of literally through other platforms, doing like like financial abuse and things of that nature, that it inspired other people to attack other black people, and then also wanting to go ahead and just kind of subconsciously leave an impression where black people needed to work harder, and we're starting to work even more harder than the whole twice as hard black tax kind of rhetoric. It's insane. It's really crazy. You did it to yourself. Stop trying to project and stop trying to misdirect the label about, hating black people when it's really just specific black people. Like I just it's like for real. It's all about a person's character. And overall it's really about the world's character. Because literally everybody in society was like, not everybody in society, but all the races, all the cultures was participating in this bullshit. And until the day where I see somebody actually advocate for my justice and being like, hey, look, what's happening to you is insane. And I would not want to see you still have to suffer another day, you or your pets, another day with this bullshit, with these miserable black people who hate themselves and hate themselves, pretend to hate you because you remind them how much of they hate themselves. And yeah, Shalise, you don't deserve to be treated this way. And I just want to speak up for you because someone needs to. Right now, it's me. So the day when that actually happens at 39 years old, it's me. And it's been for over a decade where people have not really stepped up. People have not really stepped up. Kids in the future, adults in the future, future me, people have not still stepped up. And it's just me. I am that one. That I'm that bitch. Like really, you can't make me feel like low about myself because like of how much, of how far I came in regards to standing against the odds. Who the fuck do you think that you are? Remember, you had to and do a whole lot of other fuck shit in order for you to get to where you are. So don't ever try to put it on me where you're trying to make me look inferior. Okay? Okay? All right. So how about you go ahead and go fuck yourself? No, I'm sorry. You normally with your sex addictions, you probably have a bunch of people on your roster. So did you want to go ahead and project that shit onto me? It's just like, nah, bitch, nah. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and find something else to do besides be a fucking hater? All right.